Welcome to our life of Bitachon. B'ezrat Hashem, today we'll be learning about Shabbos from Living Emunah on the Pasha. In the beginning of this week's Pasha, Parshas Vayakal, Moshe gathered the Jewish people together and taught them about the sanctity of Shabbos. It says, "Bayom hashvi'i yeheh lachem kodesh." The seventh day shall be holy for you. Shabbat Shabbaton la Hashem, a day of complete rest for Hashem. The Sefer Taras HaKodesh writes that one of the ways in which we observe Shabbos is in our minds, by removing any worry, sadness, or stress that we have in order to switch gears and enter a state of complete joy. By believing be'emunah shlema that Hashem knows our thoughts and wants us to rest our minds from all weekday matters on that day. It continues and says that the merits we gain from experiencing joy on Shabbos will help us with our needs far more than the tears we cry during the week. The Pasuk says in Yeshayahu 58:13, "Vekarata l'Shabbat oneg," and proclaim the Shabbos a delight. The only way to accomplish this is if we're happy, because a person cannot enjoy anything unless he is in the right frame of mind. The Zohar Kodesh on Parshas Emor writes that Shabbos is a day of pleasure, not only for us down here, but for the upper worlds as well. The Malachim become happier, the Neshamas in Gan Eden are lifted up, and even those who were wicked benefit from Shabbos. The Sefer Taras HaKodesh adds that if we can strengthen ourselves and remove our problems from our minds on Shabbos, week after week, then Hashem will help us truly be happy for the Shabbos to follow. It continues as well that on Shabbos, Hashem himself, Kvayochol, comes to the home of each person who keeps Shabbos properly in order to attach himself to them. When Hashem sees that we are rejoicing with the gift he gave us, he bestows upon us additional gifts with no boundaries. As the Gemara says in Shabbos 1:18a, "Kol oneg et haShabbat notnim loy nechala bli mitzarim." And it says there also that by honoring Shabbos properly, a person can have all his heart's desires fulfilled. Shabbos brings blessing in all areas. The Gemara tells us about the financial benefits. The Chofetz Chaim on Parshas Bereshis writes that the 6 days of the week draw their blessing from Shabbos, and those who are wise hurry to bring Shabbos in early and delay its end so they can bring even more brachas into their week. Shabbos is a day that Hashem himself blessed. There is a story. A wealthy man, Rabbi Yisroel, owned a large store selling the finest linens. He would always close by midday on Friday afternoon to prepare for Shabbos properly. One Friday, a nobleman entered the store shortly before midday with the intention of making a substantial purchase from among the most expensive linens Rabbi Yisroel carried. But since it would take time to make the selection, Rabbi Yisroel apologized to his customer and said, "I'm sorry, I have to close for Shabbos now." Even when the nobleman guaranteed that he would be spending a large sum of money, the rabbi told him that there is no amount that can get me to compromise on my Shabbos preparations. He closed the store and forfeited the sale. Not too long afterward, the rabbi was blessed with a baby boy who grew up to become the great Ramo, Rabbi Moshe Yisroel. And Rabbi Yisroel considered this bracha to be a reward for his adherence to Shabbos. Stephen was a wealthy secular Jew who lived in the times of the Chofetz Chaim. Although he had much money and many factories, his life was filled with hardship. He suffered from a certain disease, and many members of his family endured various ailments as well. The doctors said there was nothing they could do to help. One day, overcome with worry, Stephen unburdened his heart to his colleague, Alexander, who was an observant Jew. "All my money is worthless when I see my wife and children suffering from their illnesses," he said. Greatly moved by his fellow Jews' predicament, Alexander advised Stephen to visit the Chofetz Chaim. With nothing to lose, Stephen followed his colleague's advice and traveled to Radin, where he sat in front of the holy sage and cried as he described his situation. The Chofetz Chaim took Stephen's hand and said, "Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi makor habracha." If you keep Shabbos the right way, it will bring blessings into your life. "But I own dozens of factories," Stephen replied. "Clothing them on Shabbos would cause me a huge loss." The Chofetz Chaim repeated, "Shabbos will bring you blessing." Stephen considered the Chofetz Chaim's words. Finally, he said, "I think in 3 weeks I can change over and start closing my factories. Could I violate Shabbos for these 3 weeks?" The Chofetz Chaim replied to him, "My precious son, Shabbos is not mine to allow you to violate it. It belongs to Hashem." Stephen took the rabbi's words to heart and said that he would start keeping Shabbos that week. The Chofetz Chaim blessed him and wished him well. Within weeks, Stephen and his entire family were healed of their various illnesses. Shabbos is a precious gift. Let us utilize it to the fullest. I wish you all a happy and enjoyable Shabbos Kodesh.